Get fun, in-depth coverage and analysis from the latest in professional wrestling in AEW, WWE, NWA, Impact Wrestling, or the world of entertainment. From hit TV shows to your favorite sports like the NBA or NFL. All things music, movies, and beyond, while trying to make sense of this crazy world we live in. All while keeping it honest, insightful, and interactive since 2011. And now your host, live from the nation's capital of Washington, D.C., Lee Sanders.
Good Sunday to you all. What is going on? Covering the latest in wrestling, entertainment, and beyond since 2011. You're checking out the RCWR show. Lee Sanders with you guys for this June 9th, 2024, talking about WWE NXT Battleground Las Vegas Fallout. It literally just went off the air. Shout out to WWE for the great timing to have a premium live event, as WWE likes to call it, go off before 11 p.m. on the East Coast on a Sunday too. That is a fantastic thing. What did you guys think about NXT Battleground Sound Off? Got the poll up on X, formerly known as Twitter. Also have a poll up on the YouTube channel, youtube.com/the RCWR show. Click on the communities tab and vote that way. I see a decent amount of you guys have already sound off, but I'm going to give you guys even more time to let your voices be heard, and we'll see how you guys had voted later on during the show as we go over the results. Overall, in regards to this NXT event, I would have to say, man, you know, the main event, Trick Williams taking on Ego Ethan Page for the NXT World Championship, that match just when it was starting to seem as though momentum was building up, because I loved the back and forth that was going on in this matchup, to the point I appreciated the fact that out of the gate, it was Ethan Page that brought the fury, that brought the action to Trick Williams, because you just knew that the way this match was built up, no way this match was going to begin with a lockup or both men dancing around one another, circling each other, and then they go for the lockup and all that. You just knew, okay, well, with the intensity, with the drama, with the action being at an all-time high between these two men, you would imagine that these two men cannot wait to get their hands on one another before the bell can even ring, or just at the start of the bell, somebody's lunging at somebody. And that's exactly what went down, although many of us were thinking maybe it was going to be Trick Williams to set things off. It was actually Ego Ethan Page to do that. But just when it seemed as though this match was starting to build up, pace-wise and everything, getting ready to go to that next notch, it's over. It's over. Yeah, I'm looking at that, and it was clean. Mind you, it was clean that this match had ended. There was no controversy. There was no shenanigans as far as outside interference goes and all of that. This match just pretty much ended with a clean finish. Trick Williams retaining his NXT championship. Now, look, despite that, I've been a Ego Ethan Page fan for many years now. I just talked about him on the show earlier this week as far as how AEW and Tony Khan, rest of the crew, they really did not do Ethan Page justice while he was there for them and everything. And I looked at Page joining WWE as a major plus. And even though Page came up short from winning the NXT World title, he still had social media buzzing on so many levels. I think he lived up to the hype, to the potential, the potential that continues to remain untapped, but will be tapped while he's there in WWE. The 34-year-old, make no mistake about it, definitely has a very bright career ahead of himself there in WWE, especially being associated with NXT right now. He's off to a really good start. I like the way that Triple H, Paul Levesque, and crew have handled him on the NXT side of things so far, introducing him to the WWE universe. All things considered, though, with what happened with that match and then the NXT Women's Championship, you just kind of feel as though, man, no controversy as far as, wow, we're not going to go into this and have one of the titles change hands. I just feel it really would have been that more impactful. It would have been that more, as far as shockwaves go, for the wrestling community, for WWE fans. Wait a minute. What went down? Wait, this title changed hands? Like, how is that even possible? What the hell? Say what? That makes no sense. And give emphasis to the fact that, you know what, you definitely need to watch these NXT premium live events, because anything can and will happen. But some of you all may hear that and say, Lee, you crazy, my dog. No. Titles are fine just where it is. That's just me, though. It's just, my whole thing is, we're in this day and age now in 2024 where you have one title match go down and you see that there is a retain, then the fan will automatically assume that, okay, well, since that's happening the way that that's happening, then this probably means that that other championship match that's going to be happening later on in the night, safe to say that title is probably going to be safe as well, right? Sometimes it's kind of good to shake up the system a little bit. I personally feel great raucous crowd. Rocking crowd is what I was trying to say, but I'll take the other thing that I said. Maybe we can have that be a new word. I don't know. But I love the crowd that was out there for this event. Nice, solid crowd. Like the way that they had the ring set up and everything, as it was at the UFC Apex venue out there in Nevada. I thought it was pretty good. This was basically the first time ever that TKO/UFC, hey, look, we've got a perfect venue for you guys to do your wrestling in. I thought it worked pretty well, looked very good as far as the visual presentations go. Great camera angles that they were showing us and everything. I would like to see WWE do more out of that particular venue. Maybe it can continue to be an ongoing thing for NXT. We'll have to wait and see how it plays out in the future. Let's talk more about these matches. Short card for tonight, so we ain't going to be long-winded like usual here. First matchup, we had the ladder match for the inaugural NXT Women's North American Champion, Kelani Jordynne, defeating Sol Ruca, Lash legend, Fallon, Henley, Jaida Parker, and Mia Yim. Look, I've seen a decent amount of Kelani Jordynne, even though I haven't been watching NXT religiously on a weekly basis like I used to in the previous years. But in present times, I am dipping my head in, seeing what's going on from time to time. And Kelani Jordynne, nice look, decent in the ring. But as far as I am concerned, the personality is extremely flat. There is nothing to be desired whatsoever. Nothing to be desired whatsoever. Now, some people are going to hear that, and they're not going to think too kindly to those things that I've said. But, hey, Show Creed model since 2011, keeping it honest, keeping it insightful, keeping it interactive. So for those of you that disagree, feel free to push back. Don't mind having the healthy back and forth. But for me, she is just very, very, very bland. I'm looking at the other girls involved in this match, however, and even though I didn't give predictions, just somewhat what I've been seeing when I do check in, I honestly said to myself, well, if it's not going to be Lash Legend, maybe it'll be Fallon. And if it's not going to be Fallon, maybe it's going to be Ruca. Like any one of those girls, I'm totally okay with. So the fact that none of those girls that I was thinking, okay, they should definitely get it. And I've seen the progression of those other three girls that I just mentioned, particularly Lash Legend and Ruca. And Ruca, my God, that Soul Crusher move of hers, I am in love with that move. That is her RKO out of nowhere. Seriously, that is her Randy Orton RKO out of nowhere. I love that move. That is one sick-ass move. The fact that she can just pretty much hit that bad boy anytime and on anyone. Where I'm a little bit concerned in regards to that move, though, look, I love it. I think it's a thing of beauty because when it's all said and done, she is essentially defying gravity with what she's able to do. And the fact that she is in her early 20s right now, she's got all of that great flexibility and everything. She can continue to do that move for the next 3, maybe possibly 4 years. But where I start to grow a little bit concerned for that particular move is, okay, when she is getting into her 30s and then she's slowly creeping up on hitting 40, I'm concerned about her hips. I'm concerned about her back because the longer that she continues to do that move, the higher the odds that there's going to be some issues with those targeted areas later on. And my whole thing is, you know what, if we can, as cool as that move is, I love seeing her do that move. Seriously, that is her calling card. She has the finisher. That's badass. There's that big part of me that is screaming, we got to give that girl something else. A lot sooner rather than later. We need to give her something else as far as a finisher goes. But I love seeing her do that, just defying of odds. And she was busting that joint out like candy in the match here tonight. But yeah, Kelani, Jordynne leaving. And Lash Legend, she's definitely a future main eventer in the making without a shadow of doubt. Great look. I love how she essentially was booked in this match as you had all the other girls participating in this ladder match gang up on her and sent her crashing through a ladder that was set up outside the arena, taking out a really big Amazonian threat that is Lash Legend. I thought that was well displayed, how they handled that and everything. Some good stuff, some good spots here and there throughout the matchup. Kelani, Jordynne going over. For me, not really the desired result that I was expecting. But you know what? We are still in that honeymoon period. So let's see what'll happen, right? Maybe she will rise to the occasion or whatnot. We'll have to wait and see how it plays out. But she became your inaugural NXT Women's North American Champion. 12 minutes. Sexy Red for a minute, too. I know Sexy Red came into that joint, and she was the host and everything. I like how when this thing had first began, we had Sexy Red in the ring, and she was welcoming everybody to NXT Battleground. And then all of a sudden, she started popping her ass. And luckily, the WWE cameras, the way they were positioned, it was, no. That's too hot for TV. We're not going to show you that. No. We're not going to show you that because that would just be, no. And I love seeing some of the wrestling sites that was out there pretty much going, Sexy Red pops her ass right before NXT Battleground. It's like, really? Really? This is a slow news day, is it not? We're really gonna freaking look, as far as Sexy Red goes, if you're on top of your hip hop, your rap, then you definitely are going, hey, this is nice that WWE was able to work with this girl and everything. That's cool. Me personally, and I dip my head into my rap, my hip hop. I love those genres. I love them. I stay pushing them. But I'm not a Sexy Red fan. I am more of a
definitely a Nicki Minaj, but a lot of you guys probably won't believe this, but if I have to choose between Sexy Red and Ice Spice, you know I got to go with my girl Spice. I love Spice, okay? I think Spice is the better rapper. I think she is the better rapper. I will give Sexy Red her props. Kind of seems like she's got my girl Spice beat when it comes to the beats, her instrumental beats and all of that. Some people could say, nah, it's almost a tie, Lee, but yeah, if I got to pick my up and coming or somewhat new female rapper, I got to go with my girl Spice. That's just me personally, though. Vic Joseph, Booker T, doing a good job on the commentary and everything like that. But going back to that women's match one more time, really nothing groundbreaking right here. I did notice a couple of missteps here and there and everything, but the way that they had this ladder match set up, everybody was able to get in, their stuff for the most part. I don't really see how anybody can hate Kelani Jordynne winning, even though I said what I said, and it doesn't come from a place of hate. It just comes from well, wait a minute. I've been watching these girls about the same length as Kelani, and if anything, it should have been these girls. But I'd be surprised if there was a decent amount of people online that would be mad at the fact that Kelani Jordynne won the championship. Sound off. Let me know how you felt in regards to this particular matchup. But moving right along, our NXT Tag Team Championship match, Nathan Frazer and Axiom defending the titles against the OC's Good Brothers, Luke Gallows and Karl Anderson. Nathan Frazer and Axiom retaining the tag titles. I got to be honest with you guys. I missed half of this match because part one, when I saw the OC came out, I said, damn, these guys are still in the WWE. I totally forgot. I blanked out on these guys. I thought they were gone. Seriously. But here they are. They're there, and they're on NXT. And you know what? I think that it's a really great move on WWE. We hadn't really seen anything of them when they were part of the Raw brand, and then when they went over to SmackDown. Remember, there was that period in time where AJ Styles was out and seemed like the OC wasn't doing anything. Then even after AJ came back, the OC still wasn't really doing anything. So the fact that they are being incorporated on NXT, pretty much helping out the tag team division on there, yeah, I'm okay with that. I'm definitely okay with that. I liked how essentially the way this match was laid out. Basically, you've got this young upstart of a tag team that is taking on this veteran tag team in the OC. That is a great, perfect winning formula. Old vets taking on the new guard. Don't have a problem with that whatsoever. You're telling the classic tale of the kids that's basically getting a one-up on the veterans, right? They're overcoming all the odds being put before them by the veterans, and they're able to rise to the occasion. Nothing wrong with that whatsoever. From the little bit that I did see, because, again, I missed half of this match. I was there for the first, because I think this match went about 12, maybe 13 minutes. I was there for the first age, and all of a sudden, wham, it just hit you out of nowhere. I'm in my recliner, just watching it, got my tablet. Next thing I know, my wife actually woke me up. She goes, damn, I thought you were covering the pay-per-view here. And I'm like, I played it off. I was like, And she goes, you were asleep? Like, no, I was just reading my tablet. But I actually did doze off here. So, yeah. But from the little bit that I saw here, I liked it. The team of Axiom and Frazer, they're definitely growing on me. I see that being a really big, bright spot for NXT, especially for that tag division and everything. So I liked it. I liked what I saw right there. We of a I don't know, upset, irritated. Josh Briggs, he doesn't know who he is. We'll find out soon, I guess. I don't know. Whatever. It is what it is. Also saw a video package for Dante Chen. I'm still out on him. I remember a couple of months back seeing that guy. I'm still on the fence about him. Meanwhile, NXT Underground cage match. Shayna Baszler taking on Lola Vice. Two fighters. Picture this now. We've got two legit fighters in their own respected right. They've got the MMA experience. I believe they even have, I know Shayna does. I can't really speak for Lola because I haven't really been checking up on her MMA career like that. But if you want to go with the whole, hey, UFC background, you can definitely go there as well. Love the way that this was set up because this was essentially a fight. And the only way to win this was by a knockout or submission. I like the fact that they took away the ring ropes and the ring posts, and you had a bunch of men and women wearing all black surround the ring, and they're beating on the canvas and all that. I thought that was pretty badass. You know, one thing that was kind of irritating me about seeing this fight go down, Baszler and Vice, which was, man, can't we have this be some type of a situation where not necessarily it's a unsanctioned bout, but I was just looking for that extra little bit of, you know what I mean? It just felt like something was missing from this, but I still was able to enjoy this for all it was worth. I thought it was a nice back and forth between these two girls. I love the fact that they were throwing in there the kicks and the punches and all that. Some nice judo takedowns, armbar submission holds, leg lock holds. I love seeing all of that stuff. It definitely had those MMA, UFC elements that you've come to know and love. Or if you're checking out Bellator, it definitely had all of those elements, went in the right place. I loved it. It started to get hokey dokey, kind of comical though, towards the end, because we just saw Shayna just freak the hell out, I guess, right? She just started wailing out and just started beating the crap out of those poor extras that were at ringside. And that, for me right there, it lost me a little bit. But at the same time, I love seeing Shayna Baszler back in this comfortable realm. You know what I mean? If you've been a MMA, a boxing fan, if you've been a fan of Shayna Baszler's before she came into the WWE, this just really seemed like, okay, she's at home right here. She's definitely more within her element right here. And I ate the hell out of it. And if you've been a long-time listener of mine, you know I've been saying for the past couple of years now, can we get back to the Shayna Baszler that, because I have for newer listeners, I have on my wall here a autographed photo of Shayna Baszler, and she's holding the NXT Championship. In those days, I just remember how much of a freak of nature / badass she was way back when. And off and on over the years, I've said here on this show, can we have that Shayna Baszler come back to the helm? Can we get back to basics with that Shayna Baszler? And what I saw here tonight with Baszler and Lola Vice, I loved it. It just seemed like Shayna Baszler was right at home and everything. Now, this match ended up being stopped by the referee at about the 11-minute mark. Yeah, referee stoppage. Final moment, a triangle choke that Vice was able to block off. Shayna kicks her into the desk, and then one of the people that was standing at ringside, as I mentioned earlier, Shayna ended up picking up Lola, but Lola just pounced right on top of Baszler and was just grounding her in the face with the strikes. Referee just jumps into that bad boy because as fast as all of this went down, apparently Shayna Baszler was knocked out. Somehow during that hold, the back fist and then landing on the ground, apparently she was knocked out as Vice was on top of her and the referee just stopped it. Because, man, the way Shayna Baszler immediately jumped up after the referee stopped the match, and Shayna's just selling that, what happened? What happened? I loved it. Nice touch. It was definitely a nice touch. Shayna waking up. Didn't even realize that she lost. Seriously. Definitely setting up a really nice rematch if that's something that you want to do if you're WWE. I liked it. This match will probably have its detractors. I wouldn't even call this a match. I would more say it was a fight. I think this fight will have its detractors. I can see some saying, this type of stuff, it doesn't belong in the WWE. Don't really want to see this again. But I definitely was down for this. I thought this was better execution than what we had saw with Raw Underground with Shane McMahon and Omos. You know, they fine-tuned this one quite a bit. I like the vibe and the energy that went into this. It translated in a very good way. It did not feel like I was watching a completely different show. You feel where I'm coming from? Whereas with what happened with Raw Underground, that did feel like you were watching a completely different show, not associated with the WWE, not associated with, they did kicks ass. Yes, I can definitely get into this, is the fact that both of these women have legit MMA backgrounds. Thus, to say to these girls, hey, we want for you all to work this match MMA style. Yeah, sure, no problem. They were within their freaking element. Lola Vice coming out of this as the winner, I don't have a problem with that whatsoever. I know there's a lot of you guys out there and girls that love you some Lola Vice. I see all the nice little comments. My way of saying dirty comments. Look, she is a young, attractive woman. I will give her that. She is definitely shaped in all the right places. I will definitely give you guys that. But as far as looking at this case of another young up-and-comer and Lola Vice that is throwing it down with the veteran, I know there's a decent amount of people out there that at this point are ready to see Shayna Baszler disappear. I mean, she's in her 40s now, and a lot of people just want to give her the kiss of death, write her off and everything. I hear where you guys are coming from, but for me personally, right before she hangs it up for good, I'd love to see her have just that one definitive, legit, strong run. Look, with Triple H, Paul Levesque at the helm, anything is possible, but Lola Vice being the one to get the victory here, I'm down for that. This was really my first time really being able to see Lola Vice in action as well, because typically, I don't check out NXT, at least the full-length shows. I'm usually seeing little highlights Tuesday nights on social media, so I kind of had an idea about Lola Vice, but seeing her at full display here tonight, definitely a lot of potential for this woman, a lot of potential. I can see her being a featured player, not just in NXT, but definitely on the main roster for many years to come. Continue to take your time with that woman. I'll tell you what, definitely continue to take your time with her. Eddie Trope, the proud Native American, got another video package of him. Apparently, he's returning to NXT this coming week. We'll see how that goes, but I remember him the first rodeo. Didn't particularly care about him then. Got an announcement that NXT Heatwave is going to be in Toronto, Canada on July 7th, the night after Money in the Bank. Mark that down on your calendars. NXT North American Championship triple threat match Oba Femi successfully defending his title against Wes Lee and Joe Coffey. 13 minutes via pinfall. Oba is going to be one tough-ass dude to beat. Seriously, that dude is a beast. I love Oba. I love me some Oba. That is, man, you know what I like to say here on this show. I see money, I smell money, I sense money, I feel money, I taste money, that there be money. Oba Femi is money all day long. Dude is just so freaking beast. God, I love that dude. He shines so bright right now, man. I'm looking at him. And no bull, I'm honestly looking at what's going on currently with Damian Priest. It's just so flat right now, his championship reign. I'm looking at Oba going, yo, is there any way we can get Oba with Damian Priest and get that championship off of that man? I don't know. Look, maybe Drew McIntyre will get the job done next weekend. We'll have to wait and see how it plays out and everything. But WWE and everybody involved continue to do right by Oba. I don't see Oba being part of the main roster. I don't see Oba being part of the NXT roster very long. At this point, I would be very shocked if we went to December 31st of 2024 and Oba is still part of the NXT roster. I just feel that with a talented man such as this guy, you got to do something with him on the main roster a lot sooner rather than later. One of the best, besides, I'm just thinking about the history of big men in NXT. I dare say, now some people are going to be like, what about Bronson Reed? But no, not on my list. But is it safe to say that besides Oba, just the way that the big men have been handled in NXT and everything, is it safe to say that maybe not since Samoa Joe being booked just right? I mean, you could definitely make a case for the big man there. Definitely make a case for him. NXT Women's Championship match. Now here is where I had a big old smile on my face from ear to ear. Roxanne Perez defending her championship against the TNA Women's Champion, Jordynne Grace. Love me some Jordynne Grace. I know sometimes she puts some stuff out there on social media that rub people the wrong way. You know, she's cleaned up her act over the years. She's matured. She's about her business now and everything. And I definitely give her props for that. I love this match. If there's one match I'm looking at where I'm going, you know what? I enjoy this match the most. I'm looking at this one. Shout out to Roxanne Perez for hanging in there with the veteran. Here's another case right here. Here's another match right here where you've got a veteran, right? Nice little theme that we got going on here, almost essentially. Early on in the match, Jordynne Grace lost one of her earrings as it was ripped unintentionally. And it was bad. Her ear was split. Her earlobe, it was split in two. The earring, it ended up being caught in the leggings of Roxanne Perez. So Jordynne Grace was bleeding for a good amount of time there. It was so weird because 1 minute I'm looking at this, and the next thing, I don't know, I must have looked at my tablet, jotting down some notes. Then I look back up, and I see one of Jordynne Grace's shoulders has blood on it. And I'm going, oh, did she get cut right there? What's going on here? Then I see a little bit of blood on her face, and I'm going, what the hell? And shout out to LaFisto, because LaFisto was watching this, and speedy recovery to LaFisto, too, because she just had her surgery this week. For those of you that maybe had missed the update on her, she just got her surgery, so she's recovering It is a slow recovery. But she was watching NXT, and shout out to her because her post was the first post I saw that acknowledged, hey, Jordynne Grace, her ear got cut because the stud, her earring, it got caught up in Roxanne Perez leggings. I'm going, wait, what? And I'm now scrutinizing the hell out of Jordynne Grace's ear. And sure enough, I see the ear, it's split, and there's still blood. I'm going, oh, like, that just made me give Jordynne Grace even more props because, everybody is not built the same. You got some people that will just be squeamish, freak the hell out because they're seeing, oh my God, right? To the point, I don't even recall the referee stopping, putting on the gloves, and then trying to check in there on Jordynne Grace, trying to wrap the ear. Like, none of that crap had went down. So the fact that she soldiered through that, badass, mad props for her and everything. If there was one thing I didn't like about this match, it's the fact that towards the end of it, we had a little bit of shenanigans is the best way I can describe this. So we had Tatum Paxley, who just appeared from out of nowhere. She's going over to the announcer's table. She's looking at the NXT Women's Championship, and then she's looking at the TNA Championship. She can't decide which one she likes more. She ends up settling for the TNA Women's Championship, and she starts to dance off with it. Jordynne Grace is looking on like, what the hell? By the way, can we talk about the way this match was laid out beautifully? This was a case right here where it was all about speed versus strength. The speed coming from Perez, the strength obviously from Jordynne Grace. So funny, I remember my wife coming in and checking up on me and everything, and she goes, oh, that's Jordynne Grace, huh? Like, yeah. Oh, I haven't seen her in a good while. Man, is she jacked as hell. Like, yeah, I don't like it. Like, it's a unique taste for some people, And we started talking about female wrestlers that we remember who, they had a nice build for essentially doing the bodybuilding and all that. And I know for me, we both agreed on China. We thought China she was right. She wasn't overly aggressive with it. It was a natural yet well-defined build. I gave props to the Southern Belle, Miss Jackie, love Jackie. But yeah, it's just weird seeing Jordynne Grace. I'll give her props, man. She takes her health and nutrition seriously. Seriously. I'm a sucker for a woman that is only guilty of making sure that she stays in shape and all of that. And I know that she's been at the receiving end of butt jokes because some people look at Jordynne Grace and they just juice. The juice is loose, right? Or in this case, the juice is being put into the veins of Jordynne Grace. But, hey, that ain't none of my business, right? That ain't none of my business. We've almost gotten to a point now in 2024 where if you're doing steroids, it's okay so as long as a doctor is monitoring everything. And that's literally the point that we're at right now. And it's a case where if you don't have a doctor that is monitoring you and you're just trigger happy, just shooting yourself up, then it's kind of, whoa. But Jordynne Grace, just to see, and I would challenge anybody to do this that's not really familiar with Jordynne Grace, but just look at pretty much where she started when she first entered the business, build-wise, and just look at the evolution. She definitely has my respect for the fact that she continues to stay on top of her health and nutrition. It's definitely important. Definitely important. Didn't mean to go off on a rant about that, but I definitely wanted to make sure that setting the record straight because, nothing but love here. Got nothing but love for Jordynne Grace. I still remember when she put out her first couple of volumes, too, from all the freaks that was sliding into her DMs. Shout out if you have her ebooks that she put out there. Those things, some gems some freaking gems, I tell you. But I love how this match was set up as far as the speed versus power goes, because early on in this match, no matter what Roxanne was trying to do when she was bringing it to Jordynne Grace, Jordynne was just powering out of whatever was coming her way. And then finally Roxanne decided, okay, well, I'm going to start doing a little bit of speed here. I'm going to utilize the ropes. I'm going to aim low. I'm going to go for the feet. I'm going to go for the kneecaps. And if I can, I'm going to go for a poke in the eye, which is exactly what she did. Now, Jordynne, when she got that poke in the eye, I thought she should have sold that for a couple of more minutes. She only sold it for barely 60 seconds. Barely 60 seconds. She should have continued to sell the hell out of that, which would have validated the continued offense that was coming from Roxanne Perez. But that to the side, Jordynne, really good job. You never, as you were looking at this match, you never felt as though, okay, somebody here isn't really being a team player. Somebody here isn't really being truly flexible here in this matchup. They're kind of working a little bit stiff. It kind of seems like they're just in this position where they're trying to get off all their stuff and they're not really selling the offense coming from this other person. No. Jordynne Grace went into this one truly like a freaking professional here. And I loved it. I loved every single minute of this. We were talking about the closing moments of this. So, again, I told you about Tatum Paxley coming out there, grabbing the championship of Jordynne Grace's. Next thing you know, Dana Brooke, or the woman formerly known as Dana Brooke, Ash by Elegance, she crashes the scene. She snatches that championship away from Tatum and says, yo, this doesn't even belong to you. This isn't even yours. Jordynne Grace rolls out of the ring, comes in there, snatches her championship away, clocks Ash by Elegance over the head with it. If I remember correctly, I believe she knocked out Paxley as well. She goes back into the ring. There's a rolling DVD by Grace. She tries to go for the Juggernaut driver, but Roxanne manages to block it, hits the pop rocks. Boom, 1, 2, 3, and you got to retain that way. So look, on the one hand, you can look at this and you can say, okay, so Jordynne Grace may have lost about the 14, 15-minute mark via pinfall, but look at the fact that there was a decent amount of controversy that was going on, right? So you can look at it like that. You can definitely look at it like that. And expand upon that thought to the point of, all right, so this definitely needs to have a asterisk by Roxanne Perez, because you could essentially say Roxanne had a little bit of help. Shout out to those of you that have voted on the X poll, by the way, because when I was asking you guys who you got for this match, I gave you guys some options. I said Jordynne Grace, Roxanne Perez, someone is interfering, ends in a double countout. And we had a tie for 30%, as it was too close to call for you guys, Grace, Roxanne. But 40% of you felt that someone was interfering. So you guys called it. Give yourselves a pat on the back that have voted or were thinking, nah, somebody's going to interfere here. Went down exactly like that. So you got a nice continuation that goes into TNA wrestling for their respected story arcs and everything. You can have Jordynne Grace, hey, I was so close to achieving a really great milestone. Imagine somebody from TNA wrestling being an outsider, coming into the WWE, coming into a NXT premium live event, walking away with the NXT Women's Championship. But then Ash by Elegance and that girl, Tatum Paxley, had to stick their noses in my business. So just imagine the potential there in Ash by Elegance, right? Getting back into the mix there, continuing on her respected angle with Jordynne Grace. But the idea of Tatum Paxley possibly continuing to meddle in the life there of Jordynne Grace. It's an interesting window of opportunity that it creates. I did not get a chance to talk about it on the show earlier this week because I mainly forgot that there was going to be an NXT Battleground show. But the fact that WWE and TNA are continuing, if you will, their own little forbidden door. The fact that they are continuing their working relationship. And they did a lot more in recent weeks than what they had did with just the Royal Rumble some months back. I love this. It is a win-win situation. It is a win-win situation for WWE, its fans, staff, the workers, the idea of, hey, we can possibly do something with this promotion over here and work with these talents that happen to be good friends of ours. By the way, I love that Vic Joseph gave that nice little nugget of information there when this match was going on, where he acknowledged the fact that Jordynne Grace defeated Naomi to become the Knockouts champion. Because remember, shortly after that, Naomi was done in TNA. So it's a win-win situation, though, because for WWE, everything that I just highlighted, for TNA, it puts more eyeballs on their stars, definitely on their product. It gets the social media engagements going, right? Nothing but good things can happen with this continued relationship. I see a lot of great potential happening here. They just got to continue to be smart about it. And, one thing's for certain. If there's one area where I'm really concerned about this TNA WWE relationship, you can only have it be one-sided for so long when you're doing a title match, particularly. You feel where I'm coming from? So, and let's take that a step further for a second, right? Because I think this is important. So, in 2024, we've already seen Jordynne Grace appear for the WWE Royal Rumble. Okay, she didn't win it, but man, what a great debut for her in the WWE. She follows it up. She has a in-ring match on NXT, so many more eyeballs get to see her, get to see what she's about ahead of her NXT Battleground PLE appearance, right? So that's great. And she gets the victory, obviously. But then she goes into this event and she loses. So now if you're keeping track at home, you're essentially going, okay, so Jordynne Grace is essentially, what's that? 1 out of 3, basically, right? Right? She's got one win, but the other she's lost, right? We can't keep seeing Jordynne Grace pop up in the WWE, and the end result is essentially a losing effort. You can't keep doing it that way, right? So I'm going to make a bold prediction. If this relationship goes where I think it's going to go, I have the strongest feeling that Jordynne Grace could walk out as an NXT Women's Champion or maybe even a North American Champion. You heard that from me first. I'm just saying. And let that continue on into TNA and just kind of keep doing a back and forth that way. I know TNA had made the news a while back because they got so many people that's rolling out left and right. Maybe part of that whole process is TNA going, okay, look, we need to do what we need to do in part so we can really thrive on this working relationship with WWE and potentially other promotions in the near future, that could be part of it. That could be part of it. Or they're looking to take the company to, new heights, but it is concerning when you definitely see that many heads rolling out from the promotion. There's no doubt about that. But I love this match. I love this match for what it was worth. Didn't particularly care for the shenanigans at the end. But, hey, Jordynne Grace, still strong. You get to say, hey, these two jabronis came out. No fair, right? If it wasn't for these two jabronis, Jordynne Grace would have probably had it, right? Could be the case. Sexy Red caught up with Lola Vice. They started popping the coochie. They tried to invite Sarah Scriber to pop it as well. I'm looking at Sarah. I'm going, all due respect, Sarah, what are you going to pop? Besides gum. What are you going to pop? Elsewhere, Wes Lee got attacked by all three members of Gallows right before officials and referees were able to break it up. Before the main event match, we got ourselves a preview of what is to come with Tuesday's NXT. Javon Evans will take on Sean Spears. Meanwhile, Lexis King faces Dante Chen in a Singapore Kane match. Meanwhile, Mia Yim will face Jaida Parker. That's all going to be coming up on Tuesday's NXT. I am seeing a report, by the way, speaking of NXT Battleground, I'm seeing that apparently there were TNA officials and executive producer Ariel Schreiner and Gail Kim were in attendance at the show. In addition to that, apparently CM Punk was backstage at the show as well. Man, that's kind of a no-brainer, honestly. So a lot of eyeballs were there. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. But our main event match. Now, I'm being asked a question about, hang on here. Being asked a question about thoughts on Julia at the pay-per-view tonight. What? Was the camera put on her for like 3 seconds or something? Because I know off throughout the night for this event, they had the camera on a couple of celebrities that were in the house. So if she was one of those people that the camera was put on, sadly, I did not see it. And then if I were to see it, I'm not being a dick when I say this, so don't take it the wrong way. What am I supposed to think? Because sadly, I still have not done my research on this girl. For those of you that may be just tuning in, you're just joining us and everything, I don't watch NXT like I used to religiously back in the day. I am a man that is so busy doing X amount of things. I'm not going to even bore you with all the stuff that I'm doing. I know my class is definitely part of it. So she is definitely, much like with the girl that had wrestled Serena Deeb on AEW Rampage this week. Her name escapes me right now, but I remember saying to the folks during my Rampage review, I got to do my research on this girl. Saw this one match that she had with Serena Deeb this week on AEW Rampage, and now I'm a big fan of this girl's work, and I want to go online and look up more of her matches. Sadly, in the case of Julia, is that how you pronounce her name? I sadly have not seen anything of her work. What I'm relying on right now is my friends in the podcasting world and those like the Dave Meltzers and whatnot. I'm relying on them to put in the 411 on what's going on with this girl, and I'm hearing nothing but good things. I know we talked about how WWE had encouraged her to get some surgery for her hand. I know we talked about that here on the show. I believe she opted in, and she is getting that surgery and everything. So, but to ask me my thoughts on this person at the pay-per-view, like I said, if the camera was just put on them, I mean, great, right? But there's really nothing more I can say to that except let's go to our main event match. Main event match, NXT Championship up for grabs here. Trick Williams defending against All Ego Ethan Page. Trick Williams picking up the win. 13 minutes via pinfall. Cleanly at that. It was a clean finish. Where do I even begin with this match? First of all, it was a good main event to establish Trick Williams truly as the face of the brand, of the NXT brand. Furthermore, this establishes Trick Williams as, hey, if you thought for maybe a second this guy was maybe going to be a transitional champion, no, not the case whatsoever right here. He is the guy. He will continue to be the guy moving forward. So this was a great title defense and performance by Trick Williams. Flip the script and let's talk about Ethan Page. Ethan Page did a phenomenal job. He, as far as I'm concerned, even though he lost, even though he did not become champion, he still did a damn good job, and he hit it out of the park in establishing himself as a new addition to the NXT brand. I mean, he fits it so well. He does not come off out of place at all. He fits right in there too perfectly, I think. You know, it's kind of like you're looking at a jigsaw puzzle and you're just going, man, where's that last piece that I need? And he fits it. He's that piece. He fits it perfectly. He will definitely, in the weeks and months to come, he will continue to be a really good, strong hand, right down to the point that whenever Trick Williams does get called up to the main roster, as we always say in regards to NXT, next man, next woman up, Ethan, I think, will be right there, ready to wave that flag, and he'll be able to keep it rocking and rolling down there in NXT. I was very impressed with Ethan. I thought for sure that maybe there was going to be some jitters, but he was cool hand Luke in this NXT in-ring debut. He was. I loved it. This was very good. It also just highlights, too, how, and we'll talk about this a lot more on Monday's show, but it highlights much more on the fact that we've got now a handful of AEW talents that honestly, for whatever respected reason, it just wasn't clicking creatively with them in AEW. And they come into, and then in some cases, if it wasn't creatively, definitely in-ring wise, it just, you're looking at them, yeah, there's potential, but yeah, man, they're rough. They're really rough around the edges to look at here. Fast forward, we see them in the WWE system, and now see, here's the thing with Ethan Page. Ethan Page, a veteran in his own respected right, this guy is just, he's ready to go. That's the beautiful part. He is just ready to go. You know how sometimes you'll have a certain video game that you like to play? I don't know. Just picture whatever game. And when it comes to certain things, okay, you need an upgrade. You get this upgrade, you'll be able to do this, you'll be able to do that. You buy this accessory, and it'll make your character worthwhile, and you'll be able to do this. Well, once you reach this level, this skill will unlock, and Ethan Page, it's just, he's ready to go right now. Right? You don't need to progress any further into the chapters here, the story campaign. You don't need to go do online multiplayer. You don't need to drop $45 to unlock this piece of content right here. Ethan Page is just ready to go. I like that, right? That's good, right? That's good when you're able to get that type of access to a talent who is just ready, but also at the same time is receptive to getting feedback. Like, oh, you can't tell this person anything because, right? And for all the years that we've been watching Ethan Page, we've never heard anything to the contrary that, he's set in his own ways. You can't tell him anything. You can't teach him anything new and whatnot. There's so many angles that can go down that we've already seen on display in regards to Ethan Page and NXT. I mean, he can be mixing it up so well with so many people there. It's not even funny. So, but yeah, this match, I liked it. But as I said at the top, man, it seemed as though just when this match was starting to pick up the pace, all of a sudden, it was over. Now, some of you guys may ask, damn, well, did somebody maybe get injured in the process of this? No, from far as I was able to tell, wasn't the case whatsoever. I guess WWE and them just decided, no, you know what? 13, 14 minutes, that's more than enough. Stick a fork in it. This is pretty much done. Right? So, Trick, Sexy Red, celebrating as this Battleground event goes off the air while Ethan Page looks on extremely pissed off. And in regards to the final moments for this matchup, Ego Ethan Page had took a bookend for a 2 count. Axiom went back outside the ring. Page gets clotheslined silly. Williams ends up getting power slammed through the announcer's table by Page. Axiom goes back inside the ring. Page hits the Ego's edge for a near fall. Referee kept breaking these two guys up. There was a distraction that was set up in there that had allowed Trick Williams to hit the trick shot for the 3 count. So, if you want to say controversy there, I really wouldn't. It was a clean when it was all said and done. But we'll see how Ethan Page tries to spin things out on this week's NXT. But I would say, for the most part, and I've checked out quite a few of the NXT events, this Battleground, pretty good. Everything that was set up in here as far as your winners goes, look, some good logic to it when it's all said and done. As far as the outcomes go for your winners, some could say a little bit too predictable. But for me, overall, rather decent card. I'm looking at the matches. There's really not one match where I go, I could have honestly done without this one. No, every match earned its respected spot, had every right to be on the card for this NXT event. Let's see how you guys had voted via X. See what you guys are saying here. Shout out to my people that's watching via X/Twitter as well. All right, let's look at how you guys have voted here. Keep the voting going if you haven't voted yet. Right now, I'm seeing a tie at 9% for terrible show and below average show, while 18% of you are saying NXT Battleground was a awesome show. Top dog right now with 63% of the votes. Good show. Appreciate you guys that have voted via X. You got 22 hours left to cast your vote, so keep it rocking, keep it rolling. You guys get a chance. Let's see what else we got. Let's check out YouTube. Let's see how you guys voted via YouTube. Remember, youtube.com/the RCWR show. Click on the communities tab. Vote that way. Have you subscribed to the YouTube channel? We're so close to hitting 15,000 subscribers. Subscribe today and help us get there. We're like less than 200 away from making it happen. Appreciate you guys that's been subbing to the YouTube channel, by the way. I'm seeing 40% of you guys giving NXT Battleground a awesome show rating. Meanwhile, 60% of the votes, you guys are saying good show. Appreciate you all that have voted. Let me just make sure I'm not missing any comments. No, we're good. We're good. Okay. And right before we roll out, I'm just curious if we can read some rating and reviews for tonight's Battleground on one of my favorite sites. I love seeing what some of the folks are saying on Cage Match. I'm on there right now trying to see if, and we do. It's up there. All right, so let's see what happens. So right now I'm seeing a 7 out of 10 rating for NXT Battleground. I've not given my final rating and review, favorite match, least favorite match, so definitely stick around for that. I'll definitely sound off. Let's go to the ratings here and let's see how people broke it down. You know how we do it here by now. We look at the most critical, most neutral, most positive. So at this point, we can start with the most critical, which I'm seeing comes from 821 BVR, who gave it a 4 out of 10. Here's what they had to say. Let's never have another PLE at the Apex again. I must have watched a different show than everyone because to me, this was just an episode of NXT on a Sunday night. The crowd was just not good. Nothing super special happened, which goes to what I had said earlier. For those of you that had missed it, you can definitely rewind it back, but the fact that you had those two main events for the titles and it did not change hands. Even more the reason why between those two matches, between the two of them, at least one, there should have been a title change. Definitely should have been a title change. You had two threats. I mean, think about that for a second. You essentially have two threats from essentially two companies. Jordynne Grace, TNA, Ethan Page, fresh out of AEW, but still looked at as an outsider. And I think, in all honesty, in retrospect, I think WWE messed that up big time. How fitting is it, too? Because I just watched the first episode of Who Killed WCW, which I'll talk about on the Monday show. But I'm looking at how they did Ethan Page. I like how they introduced him, but afterwards, it should have been a running gag. What is this guy doing here? Doesn't this guy work elsewhere? What the hell is this guy doing here? Is this a hostile takeover? Is this an invasion? What is going on here? Right? And yes, if you guys want me to be saying, hey, yo, you know who I am. And you know where I've been. Right? You could have easily kind of gone that route with Ethan Page, but they did not go there. And as far as I'm concerned, a missed opportunity. But anyway, let's continue on with what BVR has to say here. Where did we pick it up here? Crowd was just not that good. Nothing super special happened. Opening ladder match it was getting good, ended. I'm reading it just how he's saying it. Tag match was fine. The underground match as a stipulation can just go away, honestly. Nothing about that advances anything. I think Shayna and Lola could have had a great match on its own other than that. Rox and Jordynne had the match of the night for me. I agree. I really wanted them to pull the trigger and have Grace win to really advance this as a crossover. Nice to see Ash Elegance. Main event was fine. Good to see Ethan in WWE. I assume he'll move on to Oral now. I think you mean Oba. Overall, I thought it was just adequate. Yet he gave it a 4 out of 5. So it kind of sounds like more he's maybe at a 5 out of 10. Maybe he's thinking average, right? What do you all think? You agree with some of the things that BVR is saying, or a lot of the things sound off? Let's go with the most positive, which I'm seeing is at an 8. I'm seeing a lot of 8s right now. Seeing a lot of 8s. All right, let's go with Joel, UV Mania. I'm going to just be honest. The show was good, but I really don't like the arena that they were in and how small it was, because the big moments got like no pop, like when Lash carried two women up on the ladder. I do remember that spot. Yeah, I do remember that. Ash by Elegance coming back, the big moments, and that, well, look, Ash by Elegance, Dana Brooke, I don't ever recall for the tenure that Dana Brooke was involved in the WWE that she ever got a big pop. It was just golf claps all the way around. So if you were expecting for golf claps, and I'm sorry, if you were expecting for a big rounding applause, and you remember how it was back in the day when you would watch your favorite TV show, favorite TV sitcom, and somebody enters the room and the crowd, yeah, woo, Kramer, whatever. Like, no, you're not gonna get that with Dana Brooke. Come on now, be honest with yourself. Anyway. Let's see here. Men's tag match, Ash by Elegance, Moans big. This was just like an episode of NXT Arena type, but they were just far too quiet and barely even care for what happened. I liked all these matches, and the final there was pretty good. I rated almost all these matches with an 8 or a 9, so I'll just give it an 8. Perez and Grace should have been the main event. I definitely feel where he's coming from as far as Perez and Grace. That definitely was a really good match. The big moments there for that men's tag match, like I said, I slept on half of that match, so I can't really comment on the second half of that one. But for the most part, I agree with what he's saying, especially the crowd. I mean, see, that's the thing. If you pay a lot of attention to the crowd, you'll really miss the most important thing, which is what's happening in the ring. I know a lot of you guys, you like blasting the TV volume up while you're watching these events because you want to feel like you're actually there and you're part of the show and everything. I get that. I get that. But a lot of you guys need to learn how to, okay, I'm going to tune the crowd out, and I'm just going to get myself lost in the moment. But I do agree that when you have certain big moments go down, which the bookers and everybody involved in the back, they're setting up these big spots, and okay, this should definitely get the crowd popping. And the fact that the crowd does not have that reaction, you can't help but notice it if you are not scrutinizing the hell out of the fans in attendance and how they're reacting, right? So it's kind of interesting, really, in regards to that Las Vegas crowd. Look, your guess is as good as mine. What was going on? Was it maybe the nachos? Did somebody put some edibles in the nachos? Was something up there with the food? Did they all have a big hearty dinner all at the same time, and they got the itis? I don't know, man. Curious Minds wants to know, though. Curious Minds wants to know. Let's read one more. So what was that? We did most critical. We just did what? Most positive. I guess we can do a neutral joint, something that's considered straight up neutral. I see something that's a 7 out of 10. Let's look at this thing here from Open the Vault. That's the handle, by the way. Open the Vault. The 2024 edition of NXT Battleground ended up being a good show from top to bottom, from matches to moments. The opening ladder match was something I was looking forward to, but it ended up being almost disappointing with how little interest it ended up having. The small venue really ruined things and managed to turn a good concept into a middling execution. Then the card picks up very nicely after that with fast-paced matches and a stipulation match that ended up being good. Overall, good show, 7.5 out of 10. So in regards to people that are complaining about the venue where NXT was held tonight. Let me just say this. Let's not forget that, if you really want to compare, right? If you really want to compare, you could make an argument that for this Apex venue where NXT was at tonight, you could definitely make an argument that the venue was slightly bigger than what NXT was doing when they were at Full Sail University. NXT has come a long, long, long way, because those of us that's been with it from day one, we are well aware that the venues were even much smaller than what we had got tonight. NXT has always had that small, intimate, warm type of setting for fans and the wrestlers. It just makes better connections and reactions that plays out well on television. It's always been that way. And I'm very surprised that there's a decent amount of people that are, continuing to complain about this venue. Pay attention to that. Keep that in the back of your mind, folks, about NXT's history and, where they've been and all of that, because you'll know who's really been checking out NXT versus those that are, if they're not nitpicking, those that's maybe trying to see this is why this is more superior than, because look, NXT is playing in this small venue here, and I'm sure when we join you guys Monday night, we should have a final tally of what the number was of attendance for this NXT Battleground show, because I know Vic Joseph had jumped out there and said that it was a sold-out venue. So that's definitely a damn good thing to hear and all that. I would imagine, since it was sold out and everything, if they end up coming back to that Apex arena there in Nevada, I would imagine that the way that they'll set it up, they will probably open up even more sections for fans to be there in attendance and everything. If you think that is very small, I'd hate to know what you guys think of when the studio crowd is in attendance there for an NWA show. Now that is small. I have somebody I know through my wife. She is friends with Billy Corrigan, and she goes to the NWA shows all the time. And they roughly can fit, and I'm sure Santa will correct me on this, but I think they can fit like somewhere between anywhere from like 50 to like maybe 85 people. That's just for like when they're doing the studio shows and all that, right? That's why I'm happy that NWA is getting out there and they're starting to tour now and everything. So, least favorite match, most favorite match, overall rating. Least favorite match, that is a tough one. You know what? Damn, that's a tough one. Really, that's a tough one. I hate to do this, but maybe I could make an argument that, okay, I knew who was going to win this, and that's why I fell asleep. I got to go with Nathan Frazer and Axiom taking on the OC. Because I've now gotten to a point when I see those guys, I just go, okay, who are they jobbing out to? Like I said, the first half of the match, I was paying more attention to Frazer and Axiom than I was with Gallows and Anderson, and I liked what I saw from the current NXT Tag Champions, but yeah, there's just something about Luke Gallows and Karl Anderson these days where I'm not interested. I'm not invested like I used to. So I would say that was my least favorite match, because all the other matches I was able to watch from beginning to end. No problem whatsoever. But least favorite match, I would definitely go in that direction. Most favorite match. As much as I thought Ethan Page did really good in his in-ring debut there, I got to go with Roxanne Perez and Jordynne Grace. I thought that was definitely the match of the night. And to the point that was made earlier, maybe that should have closed out the pay-per-view. Maybe that should have closed out the pay-per-view. Wow, that would have been interesting. So you ended on... So I guess you're going to end it on Sexy Red, Roxanne Perez. I don't know if Jordynne Grace would have gotten involved, but I guess you're going to end it on a Papa Coochie note. I don't know. I don't know, man. But, yeah, overall rating, nothing earth-shattering. I got to factor in what happened with those two main event matches. I give it a 6 out of 10, maybe 6.25 out of 10. So overall letter grade, I'm looking at a C plus. I'm looking at a C plus. As much as I would like to go higher than that, you know, I unfortunately really can't. I tell you what would have helped if a title would have changed hands in one of those two main event matches. You definitely go up a whole letter grade, for sure. You definitely go up a whole letter grade. So I think a C plus is most kind when it's all said and done. Most kind. Let's see. Other than that, let me give you guys some quick programming notes before we get ready to wrap it up. All right, so I'll be with you guys Monday night, June 10th, 2024, after WWE Raw goes off the air. So do join me for that. That's going to be a fun show. We are going to do something. I got to check the notes because we got some sponsors that we want to make sure that we're keeping happy and everything. But I think we're supposed to be doing a additional show either Wednesday, Thursday, or Saturday. I've got to go back and look at my notes. I can tell you this much right now. I know this coming weekend is going to be the premium live event, Clash at the Castle. I sadly will be at work, so it's going to be kind of weird. It's really going to be weird because at the time that Clash comes on, I'll actually be able to watch the event. I'll probably be interacting with you guys live in real time on social media. But once the event is over, I'm not going to be able to do a live post show for you guys because sadly, by that time, I'll be at work. So right now, the way it's looking, I will probably do a pre-recorded post show and just get that out on the feeds before the weekend is out. So look out for that. Sorry about that. That's in part why we're doing the NXT Battleground joint for you guys, because I didn't want you guys to feel shortchanged coming up this weekend. Damn, he didn't talk about the NXT event. Now he's not talking about the Clash at the Castle event. So didn't want you guys feeling totally left out in the cold. So hopefully you guys appreciate what we did here with NXT. And look, you know, if you guys want me to cover more NXT, you know what to do. It's all about commenting, likes, sharing, all that good stuff. It helps out a ton. Want to give a shout out to our sponsors, because without them, content like what you're checking out right now would not be made possible. Shout out to the good folks, and listen up, gamers. Shout out to the good folks over at floodescapegame.com. You can learn more about them by visiting the website floodescapegame.com. This game needs gamers like yesterday, as they are giving early access right now in order to make the game as great as possible. Flood Escape combines shooter elements with a zombie mode as players are trying to survive to be the last one standing while fighting for their lives during a flood. If you're up for the challenge and you think you can survive, check out floodescapegame.com. www.ancientsupplements.com. We're also brought to you in part by the good folks over at Ancient Supplement .store. That's Ancient Supplements .store. Ancient Supplements Store is a veteran-owned business by a disabled veteran. They offer the very best supplements that's out there on the market, FDA approved. If you're looking for supplements for some type of chronic pain, joints, maybe you need more clarity, focus, you're having muscle spasms, things of that nature, they definitely have some really good supplements that you should check out. So remember them, Ancient Supplements .store. We're also brought to you in part by the good folks over at the Orange and Blue Glory. If you're a diehard Florida Gators fan and you bleed orange and blue, check out the Orange and Blue Facebook community page. It's a dedicated group, dedicated page that celebrates every touchdown, every victory, and every moment of Gators success. Orange and Blue Glory is where passionate fans come together to share the latest news, game highlights, and insider updates on the beloved Florida Gators football team. You can participate in discussions, show your team spirit. Check them out today. Just search Orange and Blue Glory. Appreciate all of these guys that we are working with. They are awesome sponsors. So on that note, I'm going to go ahead and dip up out of here because we're almost at the 90-minute mark. Not too shabby for a post-show. Do to like, subscribe, all that jazz. I will catch you guys Monday night after WWE Raw goes off the air. Until next go round, my pretty babies. Wishing all of y'all to be safe and most importantly, be kind to one another. Take care, y'all. Peace.